Hello everyone. Me and Matt just recorded a 3v3 Shogun 2, Vanilla Shogun 2 replay, and Skype decided to crap out a little bit. So there are a couple parts in the following video that you'll see where the audio kind of cuts out a little bit. It doesn't happen too often, so it's not a really big deal, but I just thought you should be aware before you started watching this replay. So anyways, it's a really epic 3v3. You should definitely watch it. Good battle. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will talk to you later. Hey, what's going on, guys? Any Pride here, back with Milk and Cookies Total War. Today I have a awesomely epic beast 3v3 replay that I would love to share with you guys. I was playing with, well, actually everyone in this game is a good friend of mine. On my right is Wangatang, good Shogun 2 player. On the far right is the clan leader for Roundtable Knights, RTK Mercurius. You guys have seen the replay that he and RTK Majutsu did in the charity tournament where they won the finals for their charity. Across from him, we have RTK Ubermensch, another RTK player, very good Shogun player. Across from Wangatang, we have Mr. Terez, another good friend of mine. And then across from me, my nemesis, the evil man himself, Boss Tycoon. And he's going to give me some issues this battle, and we'll see that as we progress. And he's actually bringing a bow general this battle, which is an interesting choice. He's usually known for bringing a melee general. Recently, he switched up to a bow gen, and he's been annoying the piss out of everyone since. So let's start right now, get into this replay. So the first thing that happens in this battle is I'm going to push up right into these trees. I want to get all my guys in the trees, basically just to shield them from any arrow fire, because he does have the cav advantage, and, well, he doesn't have the cav advantage, but he has enough cav that he can push forward with his cavalry and prevent mine from really getting at his bowgen. Obviously, he also has fast cav, a lot of light cav, and probably speed upgrades for his bow general as well. So any chasing that I do with them will be met with kiting, and then as I turn around, he'll shoot me in the back with his bowgen. And I basically don't want to take any cavalry losses early on in this fight. So I'm just going to try to stay away from them as much as possible. He is going to pressure my left flank though, and I'm going to get all my guys up into the trees here. I'm bringing a pretty standard setup to what I normally bring, 2 matchlock, both with 125 range, Naginata attendants up front, sword core, no dachis and katanas. For my cavalry, I got warrior monk cav, fire cav, and some light cav. And he just got his first volley off on my Naginata warrior monk cav. Very smart of him to do. Bowgens do have armor piercing, but obviously they're still going to be more effective against a low armored unit, and so Naginata warrior monk cav will get shredded by Bowgens. I lost 7 men in that first volley, so I'm just going to try to run away, basically kite him, try to push him away so he doesn't do too much damage to me, but he can do a lot, and he also has 2 bow cav as well. So we're setting up in the middle here. I'm getting my first shots out with my matchlocks, and his rush is coming in real quick. Wangatang, I'm telling him to push up onto my right flank, but Terez and Boss are going to try to double team me. And his cavalry is coming up right up the middle at my Yari Yashigaru spear wall, and I'm going to pull my matchlocks back. And he is just going to try to overpower me in a melee rush, which is an interesting choice. If you have a bow general, you usually don't see melee rushes because you want to get a lot of skirmishing off first, but he can afford to do that because he has teammates to back him up as well. And he does have some very powerful sword veterans. So I haven't done a great job of pulling my matchlocks back, though I need to get them safe, but Terez just sent all of his cavalry in on my right flank, and they're just kind of collapsing in on me. And I'm going to try to push back these sword units of Boss as quickly as possible. But over on my left, he has a katana samurai flanking around, and a lot of his cavalry that are in that vicinity that are going to try to overpower me. Infantry fight is going reasonably well for me right now, though. I have a couple of his units that are wavering, but he has Katana Samurai with Bonsai, and so he's going to activate that, and his katanas won't rout because of that. They'll stay in the fight a lot longer, and that'll make it a lot harder for me to win this melee engagement. Over on my left, I got my Warrior Monk Cav and my Fire Cav flanking around, and I'm matchlocked with a great line of sight, Matchlock Samurai. It's going to start shooting into his right flank, be able to do some damage there. But my line is starting to falter a little bit. He just had so many swords, and I'm losing men. I do have some good flanking shots with the Matchlock Samurai, but unfortunately I got a flanking or a friendly fire penalty with my matchlocks, even though I had a good angle, and so 2 of my units started wavering right there. I do have my cavalry flanking around behind though. I'm going to get into melee with his warrior monk cav. And you can see my fire cav right here that are in a great position to flank around. And these units are going to be so important in this battle, and you'll see what I mean later on, because this is a pretty long battle. But I get my fire cav into melee, and I'm going to start taking out these bow cav, try to get them off the field. I broke through the center, but he's starting to win on my right flank. And so Terez is also sending his cavalry to reinforce. And this isn't looking, it's looking pretty even for me, but I would say that Wangatang is still a little bit too far away from me, so Terez is going to be able to push in and help clean me up. So I'm going to try to save whatever units that I can and get them away, because Terez and Boss together are just going to be way too much for me to handle. I'm going to pull my fire cav out of that melee engagement that you can see in the back there with Terez's cavalry, and I'm just going to run that away. I'm going to try to get that away from the fight, try to salvage that, because that's a really important unit. Super expensive, and I still have half men in it. I'm going to say that for sure. But Boss finally broke through. I have 3 units in the middle, Katana Samurai and a Nodachi, and I'm just going to try to survive with those as long as possible. And we should zoom down and get a close-up of that. They're going to hold out as long as possible. Beautiful, glorious last stand, but they just get surrounded, and they are routed off the field now. So we can... I'm just going to pull back with my 99 attendant, and I have my general alive with 8 men left in the unit, and my fire cav, and that's about it. Oh, and I just realized that Boss is also targeting my general with his bowgen, which is very smart. At the moment, his bowgen has 50 kills, so not too many, but he did manage to break through me, so all I have is my gen and a fire cav left, and I'm trying to save that and help Wangatang out. My gen at this point doesn't matter a whole lot. Protecting him isn't super important. I'm just gonna stand and fight, so I can give Terez the benefit of my stand and fight. I'm not sure where his general is at the moment, but he's a little bit too spread out now, and Boss is gonna be able to wrap in on his flank as well. So Wangatang's gonna get cleared up as well, and now all of our hopes are gonna rest on RTK Mercurius's shoulders, who is now engaging with RTK Ubermensch over on the right side of this battle. As you can see, my fire cav is now coming in, and I'm going to try to turn this fight in Merc's favor. Mercurius also has a bowgen, which is very interesting. You don't see bowgens very often, but I think some of the RTK guys have maybe gotten a little bored and decided that they want to add some variety and get a bowgen or melee gen just to change things up a little bit. But my fire cav are now coming in. They've got 140 kills at the moment, so they've already made a big impact on the battle, and they're going to make an even bigger one here, because they're going to rout every unit over on Merc's right flank. Like a good player, Marsh is going to bonsai with his Nodachi, so they will not rout, but they don't have very many men left in the unit, so they'll be able to get cut through quickly. And I actually love when this happens. I think it's a lot of fun when you only have 1 unit to micro. So I'm just going to focus all of my attention on my fire cav and trying to turn this battle in Merc's favor. Gonna come in here, and this was probably my only mistake with the fire cav so far, is I'm gonna try to take out the gen, which is good, and I do a lot of damage because fire cav have a great charge bonus, but I didn't realize that he also had some match like Ashigaru there. They're gonna get a couple shots off and do more damage to me. So I only have 20 men left in this unit, but in a battle that's this close, 20 men in a fire cav unit can change the entire course of this battle, so keeping that alive will be essential if we want to win this. Merc has now finished up cleaning most of Marsh's units, and I'm still pressuring Ubermensch with my fire cav, doing as much damage wherever I can, and about to get a great charge off on his match like Ashigaru, who are unprotected and unable to turn around in time. They get a couple shots off, but it won't be enough. And with the help of Mercurius, we'll be able to route that off the field as well. So now, this is pretty interesting, because Wangatang has only a couple units left that he's going to bring over to Mercurius to help out. Marsh only has 1 unit left in this Naginata Samurai that's over by the shrine. And I only have 1 unit left, which is the fire cav. So Boss right now and Mercurius are the 2 players that have the most impact on this game. They both have a ton of units left, but everyone else is pretty much out of this fight. Been pretty Pyrrhic so far. Pretty much everyone's taken a ton of casualties. And this part is, I thought this part was actually really funny. He has a Naginata Samurai, and as most of you know by now, very highly armored unit with 10 armor. So bows don't do a lot of damage, and matchlocks actually sometimes have trouble killing them too if they're running away. I mean, a matchlock will kill a Naginata Samurai, but if they don't get good volleys off, it's not always, it's kind of a wash. And so he's going to try to run that and save that. Try to get that over to Boss and Mr. Terrace, who are way off in the distance now. But we don't have any units, any infantry units that can really catch up to that Naginata Samurai because it's so far away. And Mercurius is going to bring up his Matchlock Samurai, which have 180 kills at the moment, which is insane. And he's going to get some shots off, do some damage to it. But because it continues to run away and Matchlock Samurai aren't really any faster than Naginata Samurai, he's going to have issues trying to get that off the field. So what I wanted to do was bring my Fire Cav over and try to slow it down. And so that's what I'm just going to try to pressure that Naginata Samurai's flank and try to make him click an attack order on my Cav so that it slows down to give Mercurius' Matchlocks enough time to shoot. And we'll see how that works out in a couple seconds here. Really, there's almost nothing left on this field now. Mercurius has Naginata Attendant, Bulletproof Samurai, and a Katana Samurai, and another Naginata Samurai for Wang-Tang, and a Bogen. And that's really all we have left on this field, besides my Fire Cav. And Boss and Mr. Terrace don't have much left either. So it's been extremely close so far. I'd say they have a slight advantage, but this could still go either way. And as you can see, my Fire Cav are now coming in. I'm going to get really close, and obviously he's going to take the bait because he wants to get my Fire Cav off the field. So he clicks an attack over my Fire Cav and starts running towards them, which is exactly what we wanted. And that'll give the Matchlock Samurai time to fire, do more damage to that Naginata Samurai. And here come Mercurius' Naginata attendants. Gonna try to tie them down a little bit. Obviously they cannot win in that melee fight, and as you can see they just routed off the field pretty much right off the bat. One thing I do have to be careful of though is because we have so few cavalry units left, I have to save that Fire Cav. And so whenever Boss sends his general to try to snipe my Fire Cav, I get that away as soon as possible. They have 200 kills at the moment though, so they've done a ton of damage, and I'm going to continue to seek to exploit our enemy's lack of cavalry. But we're now setting up pretty much for this final engagement here. Looking at Boss's army, zoom down into the forest and see what he has. He's got Katana Samurai 23 attack and defense upgrades as well. So they're very, very powerful, high upgraded unit. Mr. Terrace has a Yari Samurai with 19 defense, so that's a powerful unit as well. And he also has an almost full strength Matchlock unit with 125 range, which is something we're definitely going to have to be wary of. Wang-Tang has a couple mounted samurai that he can use to skirmish effectively with, and a light cav, a Naginata Samurai, and we have a bulletproof katana and a matchlock unit. So it's pretty even at the moment. Just setting up now. My fire cav all the way. The poor remnants of my army, the only guys left on the field from mine. My general died a while ago. I think when he was over by Wang-Tang, he was in stand-up fight, and I think Boss either sniped him with a Bogen or a unit killed it in melee. Well, Boss is being very, very smart with his general and targeting the most important units, which are the range units. Matchlock Samurai are going to be pretty important in this battle, so Merc needs to keep that alive. And unfortunately, at this point, I was talking to Merc, and I was like, yo, you need to start pressuring them with your Bogen, try to take out some of their Matchlocks. And that's when he told me that he had no more ammo left in his Bogen, which hurts a lot, obviously, because that's a powerful unit, but if it doesn't have any ammo, its use is pretty limited. And unfortunately, Boss still somehow has a ton of... Actually, you know what? No, never mind. I thought he might have gone over to the other side of the map to refill, but there was no archery dojo on this map, so he wasn't doing that. I don't know how he's not out of ammo yet, because he's been shooting for a while. But he doesn't have much ammo left, but I believe he has a couple volleys, so... We are at a definite disadvantage at the moment. We have the benefit of having my fire cav, which can definitely turn a melee fight in our favor, but we don't have much left in the way of cav or infantry, and they definitely have the ranged and infantry advantage. So turning it will be difficult, but entirely possible. Merc is being very smart, keeping his men in the trees. He doesn't want to take any devastating volleys from the matchlocks that are flanking. And Terez is doing a good job of setting up on the flank, and Boss will take the middle forest here. While Terez and Senor Ubermensch set up on the flank and try to get shots from the side. My fire cav is over. Just gonna, I try to hide them for a second to see if they'll forget about him. I'm gonna move in. What I'm gonna try to do with my fire cav now is gen snipe. I want Boss's general off the field because I can kill him. We definitely have a chance of routing all of Boss's infantry units. So I'm just gonna kind of make his general focus on my fire cav, and so if he's gonna chase me, which he will, he'll take that bait. I can get his general away from his main line, and I was hoping at this point that Mercurius would come in for the final engagement, which he does. Although Terez is getting some good volleys off from the side, but any shots that Boss's general tries to take in my fire cav, I'm just gonna run away. They're just too fast. And so I succeeded in getting his general away from the fight for a little bit, and now I'm just gonna run back and try to turn the infantry fight in our favor with a hammer and anvil. Merc's Katana Samurai now entering melee. Wangatang is doing a decent job of disrupting Boss's formations with the light cav and the mounted samurai. But unfortunately, we're kind of surrounded as well because Ubermensch has a Naginata Samurai all over by itself, over by the shrine. And here is going to be the most important part of this match. Merc is going to shift to attack Terez's matchlocks that are out in the open field, and by doing that, he's going to expose himself a little bit. But my fire cav is going to come in from the flank, and so is Merc's Yari cav. And we're going to try to take out these matchlocks right off the field as soon as possible. He runs through those Yari Samurai and actually does a good job of getting through, and he gets through to the Matchlock Samurai and does a lot of damage to that. And we're starting to cause some wavering here. My fire cav comes in and gets caught on these Naginata attendants, but I'm going to continue running through and hit his general and try to take that off the field. His general's down to 17 men, and my fire cav is still at 15, so I can definitely win that engagement. The melee fight in the center is starting to shift in their favor, though, and the balance bar is shifting as well, and it was at this point that we weren't sure that we could win this. I do get a good flanking charge off, but unfortunately his bonsai came back, and he was able to use it on his Katana Samurai again, and that keeps his katanas in the fight, and with that pretty much gets rid of any hope we had of winning that battle. My fire cav's still in the fight, taking out these matchlocks, but they're going to rout pretty soon here just because of the balance bar shifting in their favor, and we just don't have any units really left on the field that can turn this in our favor. It was really close though, and I had a lot of fun playing this. I mean, usually when I play with the RTK guys, these matches are very close. We're all, I think, very either decent or very good players, and so it just turns out that a lot of these battles turn out like this. This just was one that turned in their favor, unfortunately, but it was really close, and I really enjoyed that battle. I thought it was a lot of fun, so I hope you guys did too. We're gonna go to the stat screen real quick, and I will see you in a minute or so. So, I'm gonna check out the stats real quick, in case any of you guys are actually interested in that, or what I have to say after a battle is done. I would venture to guess that most of you probably don't care, but I'll do it anyway, just for the few that do. Alright, so Mercurius definitely carried us that battle. He was the only opponent, or the only player on our team that ended up winning his engagement. Although, me and Wangatang both did a good job of taking out Boss and Terra as what we could, but we didn't win our engagements. Mercurius was the only one that did. He beat Ubermensch. So, the kills were pretty evenly spread out among all 6 players. Merc had 1,400, Wangatang had 1,100, I had 1,300, so pretty even. Pretty much the same thing for Boss, Terras, and Marsh. Looking at his stats real quick, on my Fire Cav, definitely the unit that carried me that battle. If I hadn't saved that, we would have lost that by a much larger margin. I was able to turn infantry engagements that Mercurius might have lost with that Cav charge from the rear. No dachis, and all my katanas did pretty well in melee. My matchlocks didn't quite have the time that I would like to have given them to shoot, and that was an issue. They didn't get too many kills, and I think I might have routed some of my own men on my left flank. But overall, I did pretty well. Boss did a good job of rushing in and just kind of overwhelming me, and Terra did a good job of supporting. Terra's, same thing, had a Yari Samurai, did pretty well. March had a Naginata Samurai with almost 200 kills, which is a lot. Mercurius had a Matchlock Samurai with 200, which you very rarely see. Matchlocks don't get 200 kills very often. Usually it's the morale penalty that really shifts battles in your favor with the Matchlocks, but 200 kills is very, very good. And Wangatang, 150 on a Matchlock, very good. And Boss, his katanas carried the day. His rush was very, very powerful, and his swords were very good. And that definitely hurt us, that battle. Anyways, it was a really close game. Really enjoyed it, and hope you guys did too. Got plenty more coming, so stay tuned next couple of days. I'll talk to you later. See you guys.